7:12 p.m. You're sitting in the car in the parking lot outside your own apartment, engine off. You're not ready to go in yet. Your phone is face up on your thigh. 2 tabs open. Left tab, direct deposit, salary, $2,140. Every 2 weeks, like clockwork, for 6 years. Right tab, a different app, different bank, the one nobody at work knows exists. $2,310 this month. Not every 2 weeks, this month. You do the math you've done in your head 100 times, except this time it isn't close, it isn't almost, it's already happened. The thing you built at your kitchen table after midnight, the thing your girlfriend called a phase, the thing your manager joked about in a meeting without knowing it was true. That thing just quietly passed your real job. Nobody claps. The parking lot doesn't know. Rewind. You're 26. Tuesday night, 9:40. Dishes are done. Sarah is watching something on the couch. You go to the kitchen table with your laptop instead of joining her. She doesn't ask anymore. The first month she did. What is this, some kind of get-rich-quick thing? You said no. You said it's just design work, small stuff, logos, flyers, a menu for a restaurant down the street, freelance, after hours, an hour or 2 most nights. She laughed. Not mean, just the laugh people give something they don't think will last. You laughed too. You weren't sure it would last either. First month, $180. You almost don't mention it. It feels too small to be a thing. You put it in a separate account so it doesn't blend into rent and groceries and disappear without you noticing. You don't tell your manager, you don't tell your brother, you tell no one except the number itself, sitting there in an account with your name on it and nobody else's expectations attached. Month 2, $310. Nothing dramatic happens. You just keep showing up at the table at 9:40. Some nights it's 20 minutes, some nights it's 2 hours. Sarah stops commenting, not because she's convinced, because it's just what Tuesdays look like now. You get used to it. You don't notice. You've said that phrase to yourself before you even know it's a pattern. 27. A guy from work, Derek, sees your freelance page by accident, scrolling through a mutual friend's likes. He brings it up in the break room, like he caught you doing something embarrassing. Didn't know you had a whole little side thing going. He says side thing like it's a hobby, like model trains. You say, yeah, just for fun. You don't correct him. Correcting him would mean explaining the number, and the number isn't his business. He goes back to his coffee, already forgetting he asked. You don't forget. You just don't say anything. Level 2. $600 a month. You raise your rates for the first time. Your hands actually shake, typing the new number into an email to a client. You hit send before you can talk yourself out of it. The client says yes without negotiating. You sit there staring at the reply for a full minute. Nobody taught you that the price you're afraid to ask for is usually still too low. You just found out on your own, alone, at a kitchen table at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. 28. Sarah's sister asks at dinner what you actually do with all that computer stuff at night. You start to explain. Sarah cuts in before you finish. He just does some freelance thing. It's not really serious. She's not being cruel. She believes it. You let the sentence stand because arguing would take more energy than you have left after a day job and a full evening of client emails. You go quiet for the rest of dinner. Not sad, just quiet. You already know something she doesn't. Level 3, $1,400 a month. This is the month you stop thinking of it as extra. This is the month you start thinking of it as a second job you never announced. You buy a real monitor for it, not a big purchase, a quiet one. 29. Your manager pulls you aside for your annual review. Solid year, reliable. We're giving you a 3% raise. You do the math on the drive home out of habit. $61 a month before taxes. That's less than one small client project. You don't say that out loud in the meeting. You just nod and say thank you. Because 6 years in, you've learned the review isn't really a negotiation. It's a formality you sit through. You drive home and open the other account before you even take your shoes off. Level 4, $2,800 a month. This is the month the two numbers get close enough that you start doing the comparison on purpose instead of by accident. Salary after taxes, roughly $3,100. Side account, $2,800. Derek gets promoted. Team lead. There's a small cake in the break room. Everyone claps. You clap too. You mean it. He worked for it. The version of working that gets seen, that has a title attached, that shows up on a LinkedIn post with 40 comments. Level 5, $3,400 a month. It happens on an ordinary Thursday. You don't notice at first. You're just updating your spreadsheet before bed, the same one you've kept since month 1, and you enter the number and stare at it a second too long. Side income, $3,400. Salary that month, after taxes, $3,180. You check the formula. You retype it by hand. Same number. It's not a milestone you circled on a calendar. It just arrives on a Thursday like any other Thursday. Quiet, almost rude in how undramatic it is. You close the laptop. You don't wake Sarah up to tell her. You lie there in the dark doing math you already know the answer to. 31. A slow month. 2 clients cancel in the same week. 1 doesn't pay on time. The side account drops to $900 that month, the lowest it's been in 2 years. Sarah notices you're quieter than usual. She asks if everything's okay. You say you're just tired. That's not a lie. It's not the whole truth either. That night, you sit at the kitchen table and think, seriously for the first time, about quitting the side thing entirely, going back to just having one job like a normal person. Your thumb hovers over the folder of client files. You don't delete it. You just close the laptop and go to bed. 32. You almost tell your manager you're thinking about leaving. You get as far as scheduling the meeting. You cancel it the morning of. Not because you're scared, because you don't have the sentence yet. You don't know what you'd even say. I have a spreadsheet that says I don't need this desk anymore doesn't sound like something a reasonable person says out loud in an office with fluorescent lighting. Level 6, $4,900 a month. The freelance thing has a name now. You finally register it as an actual business, not because you need to, but because doing your taxes as a sole proprietor with 6 figures of invoices and no paperwork trail felt insane. Sarah helps you pick the name over dinner. It's the first real conversation you've had about it in a year. She asks if you're going to quit your job. You say you don't know. You mean it. 33. Derek asks you for a design favor. Small thing, a flyer for his kid's soccer team fundraiser. You do it for free. He says he owes you one. He has no idea what he actually owes you would cost him $400 from anyone else. You don't tell him. Some things you just let people not know. Level 7, $6,200 a month. Double your salary now. Not close anymore. Not breathing on its neck. Ahead. You sit in the parking lot outside your apartment one evening after work, the same parking lot from the beginning, engine off, and you do something you haven't done in 2 years. You just sit there and let yourself feel it, instead of immediately going back to work. 34. You tell your manager you're resigning. 2 weeks' notice, standard, professional. He asks what you're moving to. You say you're going to focus on your design business full-time. He nods slowly, the way people nod when they're being polite about something they don't quite believe will work. Good luck with that, he says. He means it kindly. He has no idea the business made more than your entire salary for the last 4 months in a row. You don't tell him that. It wouldn't change anything now, and it isn't his to know. Your last day, Derek stops by your desk. Gonna miss having you around. Says he's proud of you for taking the leap. You say thanks. You don't correct the word leap. It wasn't a leap. It was 8 years of Tuesday nights at a kitchen table nobody was watching. It just looks like a leap from the outside because nobody saw the part where you built the ground first. 35. 6 months later. You're at the kitchen table at 9:40, same time you always sat down, except now it's not after a day job, it's just the job. Sarah's on the couch. She doesn't ask what you're doing anymore. She knows. Your phone buzzes. A client payment clears. You don't check it right away. You finish the email you're writing first. That's the part nobody tells you about the other side of the number. The number stops being the thing you check every night like a pulse. It just becomes the weather, present, expected, no longer something you hold your breath for. Sarah's sister brings it up again at dinner, the same one who dismissed it 2 years ago. So, how's the freelance thing going? Sarah answers before you can. It's not really a freelance thing anymore, it's just what he does. You don't say anything. You don't need to. Somewhere right now, someone is sitting in a parking lot with 2 tabs open on their phone, one number that's supposed to matter and one number nobody knows about yet, quietly becoming the bigger one. They haven't told their partner, they haven't told their manager. They laughed along last month when someone called it a phase. They're about to sit down at a kitchen table at 9:40 tonight, the way they have for months, for no reason anyone would understand, and no one is going to clap. That's not the tragedy. That was never the point.